goes round and round. What you give me is what I give you, baby, pound for pound. Hey, whatever you do, that's what I'm about. Yeah. Whatever you do, baby, don't stop now.
Hello Africa and welcome to the show on the SABC News channel that is your portal into showbiz, putting a spotlight on Africa's creative soul. This is of course Trends with me, Refilwe Mwilwa. On Twitter, we are at Trends on SABC. So please holler, just say hey, or you can also tell us what's trending in entertainment in your part of town. I'm playing Fairy Godmother later in the show. Yes, we do have a giveaway that you don't want to miss out on. And yeah, a big shout out to Tammy who has just serenaded us. I will of course catch up with him just now. In our first package of the day, all roads led to Midrand last weekend for the 5th edition of what's become the Can't Miss Music Festival on our calendars every October. That was, the delicious International Fest, and the lineup had Mzansi out in their thousands to experience good food and music, catering to all sounds, with the likes of British legend Lee John and the group Imagination, who were hugely popular since the 70s, and also son of Afrobeat legend Femi Kuti. Fela did the most, and of course, we all had nostalgia on high when the iconic groups TKZ and Bongo Muffin took to the stage. Unrivaled pioneers of South Africa's music space, they will always be, and from the love the fans showed them, I'm sure they're asking themselves why they ever took this many years out of the limelight. Check out what went down at the Kailami Racecourse despite the weather.
We had a delicious time at the festival, and trust me when I say nothing could turn down Mzansi from a rad time. Even the gloomiest weather and rain had nothing on the fun that was had there.
Well, I think it's really fabulous to be in a space where we can showcase our local talent and showcase entrepreneurs and small businesses with everything that they have to offer. So I really think it's been a wonderful and successful festival.
We were spoiled for choice with a warming lineup of a variety of local and international sounds. The likes of legendary Afrobeat Femi Kuti, iconic R&B singer Alexander O'Neal, British duo Soul to Soul, Omar, and American rapper Common took to stage with their reminiscent sets.
Common is like my top 3 rappers, like ever. And then I loved it because it was like a good balance. So he did like a very musical set where he had like a pianist and drums. And he also had like a DJ set where he like was a lot of skitting and he like breakdanced, okay? So that was like all the elements of hip hop. Like hip hop does not get any better.
Common was here. It was out of this world. He did, you know, Common is all about black consciousness. He's just so woke about black people. So we related, man. He shared the same sentiments, and it was amazing. The whole vibe about it, and of course he had to pick up a girl and put her on stage and stuff, and I'm like, why not me? But yeah, the whole thing is just amazing.
Local artists also brought the house down, and of course, Mzansi's very own award-winning, internationally recognized DJ who just received an International Music Award in Ibiza also took to stage. DJ Black Coffee had an awesome performance on Saturday, followed by more great acts from Mzansi. The dynamic sounds of the most popular groups in South Africa made a comeback. TKZ and Bonga Muffin fans were treated to a nostalgic set.
You know, when you've been wishing for a group to come together for so long, and they actually do in such a huge event. So we had fun. I had fun. I had an amazing time.
Winners of the first official Dance Music Awards South Africa were crowned last week at a ceremony out at the Birchwood Hotel in Johannesburg. Now, with dance culture such a big part of all South Africans' lives, this is an awards fest that is sure to become hugely popular. You just watch. We're glad to have been there to show all of you what they're all about. Take a look at the highlights.
A first for South African DJs, the Dance Music Awards. The awards seek to recognize dance music DJs in the country and internationally with an intention to also create a platform for aspiring artists. Black Coffee was the biggest winner of the night, walking away with 3 awards. The awards were an initiative by the Soul Candy record label.
The Dance Music Awards is about honouring dance culture in South Africa. So all the genres, all the DJs, all the producers, all the festivals, all the clubs, all amalgamated into one. So it's about celebrating black, white, everything that makes dance culture what it is in South Africa. That's what we're here to celebrate. It was the idea that we had in our minds to put something together that is a campaign that is fan-driven, that doesn't have a panel that has, you know, an agenda or SMS lines that you can buy votes and that kind of thing. So we basically come up with the idea of having the awards live digitally, and you know, it took us some time to eventually implement it, because we've been thinking about this since 2006.
Acclaimed international DJ Lars Berhenroth scooped the Best International DJ Award, while Julian Gomez took the Best Record of the Year award. An additional award, the Pioneers of House Award, which pays homage and gives recognition to a legendary dance artist, was also added to the list, and Black Coffee once again backed this award. For most of these DJs, this was the first recognition they ever received in their careers.
It's the first award I've ever received. I've been nominated for a few, best podcast, radio show, all that, but this is the first one I've ever received, yeah. I've been coming here once, twice a year since 2010. It's the best reception I get for whatever I do. It's the only place I get to do whatever I want to do.
I feel good, man. I'm feeling really good right now. I think mostly because this award is basically all run by the people. So people nominate, people vote. So the power is in the people's hands. So for me, it's just, you know, it's kind of special.
It's amazing, to be honest. It's a recognition of something kind of outside the norm. A lot of the guys who were nominated for Best EDM Award were guys making really multi-genre, really interesting music, and I, for one, put a lot of like heart and soul and weirdness into my music, so to have that recognition at such an amazing event run by such incredible people really means a lot to me.
It shows that there's a lot of people that are rooting out for me and that want this thing to work, and they want me to work, and they want me to blow up and become the biggest female DJ in the country, so I'm very happy.
I don't apply for awards, or I haven't applied for awards. Even when I was, asked to apply, I didn't. So this is the one music platform that you don't have to apply, which is really dope. I think that's what each and every artist kind of dreams of, Uti. If you're ever going to get an award, it should be not because you applied, but because you worked hard. Sure.
Come on and take me where you wanna go. Please just make it a place that I don't know. What we have here is for show, and we don't hide.
Well, so he performed for us when the show started, and I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say Tammy Schibetta won the hearts of many, many, many last year when he became the runner-up of the uber popular music talent search show we all love to watch on a Sunday, right? So since then, a lot has happened. He's been busy, though, cooking up all of this in studio, and he's just dropped his debut album, well, a few months ago, and it's titled Never Lost, a 13-track project, and him saying, well, if you think you knew me then, allow me to reintroduce myself. Welcome to TRENDZ, Tammy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so,
Good to be here.
I mean, right now, we are still watching, you know, on a Sunday.
Yeah.
What do you go through when you, I mean, do you ever watch?
I don't.
Do you get
even
taken
watch.
back to that moment?
Don't even
Was that
watch.
just too much stress for you?
It's too much stress, but I think I went onto YouTube and I saw somebody performing, and it kind of reminded me of the time I was.
It took you back there. But that's some hectic panel beating, man. That's some hectic panel beating.
It's hard work.
It's hard work, but it's a great platform to groom you and you know, make you ready for what's about to happen. So you are basically about a year into, you know, proper showbiz. Almost a year, you know, but it's been eventful. Take us through the highs, take us through the lows, and the coming together of Never Lost.
So we started working on this album in May, and it was done by June, and we released it on the 28th of July. And from then, it quickly shot to, I think, #1 on iTunes and #7 on the albums that were trending in the first week of August.
Fantastic.
And then, and then the last time I think I checked anything, I try not to check.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, it was sitting at #4 on the R&B charts in Mzansi.
Sure.
And yeah, so it's been a good album. It's been
slowly but steady.
Yeah.
And the love that you received. I mean, we're talking now, you know, you telling me about where you're from, and that, you know, right now you need to, you know, make your mark, a big mark in Johannesburg before you take home, you know, the stardom and everything. And I mean, the people who voted for you, of course, they're, you know, very, very excited that you have this art. Tell us about, did you produce, well, not produce, but you wrote some of your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, take us through that and the features that you have.
So I wrote about 50% of the album. So that's 50% of the songs. I had somebody co-writing with me. And then I worked with Kayam Teetwa as co-producer to Robin Cole, who mixed and mastered the album.
Right.
And then I featured Uprenda Mtambo, my all-time favorite.
Yes.
It had to happen.
Yeah. And the song is called Letting Go.
It's called Letting Go. It's the only breakup song in the album.
It's the only breakup song. Everything else is makeup. Just
everything else is just about love and appreciating the person.
I hope there'll be a video for that. It sounds like, I mean, Brenda, anytime you have Brenda singing.
I'd love to.
You know?
I'd love to.
I think you should. I think you should. So you sang for us. You opened the show today with what track is that?
It's Night and Day.
Night and Day.
It's my current single, a follow-up to my first singles, Tandwa, which also was very, very appreciated by the people that support me. We're going to release a video soon.
Nice one.
I think it's a Pumango. When is it releasing?
Before the end of the year?
No. It's actually this month.
Oh, this month.
It's actually this month.
So
it's already
about
been shot.
2 weeks left of the month.
Yeah, we're just doing touch-ups, and then people are going to see the video just soon.
Tell me, but you're here, but doing the interview, and you're telling me, you know, all the showbiz talk. What have you enjoyed the most, or what have you hated the most? What are you frustrated with? What, you know, what's going on inside your head right now?
What's going on inside of my head is, I think it took me a while. So I'm almost a year into the industry, and it took me a while to get to a point where I'm like, I actually am in the music biz. You know, I actually am an artist. You know, I walk into some places and I see abantu that I look up to. And I'm like, you know, male artists that I look up to, Abo Donald, and many other, Nabo Nati,
and they recognize you,
and they recognize me too, and I'm like, yes. I'm that person. I'm also in the industry, so I'm still, you know, it's still trying to, like, I'm still trying to
processing a lot.
Just process it and accept it.
Stay
and
processing.
I'm getting there.
Stay, you know, focused. You know, eye on the prize. You've just started. Stay away from the girls. You know what
They should stay away from me.
Oh, they should stay away from you. Okay, there you go. Thank you so very much. I mean, we wish you all of the best, and we will continue watching your star rise. Congratulations on this project. Cool. So that was Tammy. Yeah, girls, you heard him. He says y'all should stay away from him. We're going to that break now. Come back after this. You're watching Trends.
Not coming, Bruce. It's already here. The others, where are they?
It has to.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
One thing I can tell you is you got to be free.
My turn.
Come together.
Shall we?
Shall we indeed? We've just played you a snippet of the trailer of the upcoming film from Warner Brothers Pictures, the dopest crew out of DC Comics, and that's the Justice League, the culmination of Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and The Flash coming to life in this action-adventure where these meta-humans must team up to save the planet from an assault of catastrophic proportions. So dramatic, I know, right? So the film is set to release on November 17th, and TRENDZ takes an in-depth look at the characters in the weeks to come, starting off this week with heartthrobber Jason Momoa, who takes on the role of Aquaman.
There is a stranger, comes from the sea. Arthur Curry, also known as the Aquaman.
He's the son of a lighthouse keeper and the Queen of Atlantis. He starts to develop these powers. He can breathe underwater. He can communicate with sea life. He's very strong.
He's the only one that's both. He's human and he's a god. I want to see him struggle with the fact that he has these powers and doesn't know how to handle them. He hasn't been trained.
He grows up not really feeling like he belongs in either world.
What is it? 3/4 of the world is covered by water? That's his domain. One of the last mysteries left in this world is what's below.
Absolutely. And so what else is down there? Aquaman knows.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I hear you can talk to fish.
Aquaman, he comes from 2 different worlds. He's half man, he's half Atlantean. He is the heir to the throne of Atlantis, but he's not the king yet. I heard about you. When he finds his place with the Justice League, that's when he can really put his skills to use. One of my favorite things to film is when I jumped on the Batmobile.
Yeah, that's a really cool moment.
I was like, I cannot believe I'm surfing the Batmobile right now.
We do this together.
All right. Just like a bat. I dig it. Can't save the world alone.
Okay, so if you are a fan of one of the Justice League characters, you need to listen up because you could stand a chance to win yourself, some merchandise when the film comes out later this month. Listen up and you could win your very own Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Cyborg, or Flash merchandise. So Times Media Films is giving away fantastic superpower action figurines valued at 450 Rand. All you need to do is follow us and tweet a clip of your best Aquaman impersonation. Yeah, stay tuned into Trends over the following weeks because we'll be playing the best clips on the show ahead of the movie release at, it's what, mid-November? Yeah, so do your best and we wish you all the best. I look forward to seeing those clips.
Mr. and Mrs. Hudson, here is your daughter.
No one's answering. You guys need to go back to the house.
You should really let me go. Or you're all gonna die tonight.
This is life or death. There's something very wrong with that house on Willis Street. We want it back here.
There's no running. There's no escaping. You must just accept it.
Wow, okay, so South African movies are doing us proud. We had an American one before that, of course, but that is actually a South African flick. And the premise is that after a young woman is kidnapped, her captors soon come to realize that, in fact, they may be the ones in danger, and this young woman has a dark, dark secret inside of her. Yeah, it's the upcoming South African horror flick, one of the first, right, called From the House on Willis Street. It's directed by Alistair Orr. He's in studio with me, and it stars Shani Vincent, Carolyn Burchell, and Stephen John Ward, who is also here in studio. Welcome, guys.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having us.
Congratulations, man. It looks proper.
Thank you, man.
Well,
yeah,
of course, proper, I mean, it looks really, really authentic, like scary, you know what I mean? Because I don't think we've ever seen a South African horror flick, have we?
Well, it's a tough thing making a horror film because you actually go out to make a film that nobody actually wants to watch.
Yes.
So I think we did a good job.
So tell us about this, you know, Alistair. I mean, you, of all the kinds of films and all genres, why this?
Well, this is just something that I grew up with. You know, my parents would feed me these movies as a kid, and
really,
yeah, they wouldn't get babysitters. I grew up in Pietermaritzburg, so right. Yeah, the video machine was the babysitter.
Yeah.
And when I got approached to do a film, I sat down and this is what I wrote. So don't go too deep into my head. I don't know what you'll find.
It's dark.
Yeah, man.
It's dark and empty. Yeah.
I don't think it's empty, but dark maybe. Stephen, tell us about this flick, how you came to be a part of it, you know, your other roles before this, you know, and then here you are in a horror movie.
Right. Well, how I got to be a part of this film is I was actually in Cape Town at the time, and I think at that stage they weren't really considering Cape Town artists.
No.
And I had a bunch of agents tell me about the film and try to tell them about me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up just telling one of the agents to give me the producer's number.
Sure. Let you do the talking, you know what I mean?
And then I called the producer and I said, please see me. And then, yeah, I got on the Skype with Alistair and he did a callback and he was really happy to bring me on board.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Johannesburg was your, I mean, this film was created here?
Yeah, so I mean, we didn't have a lot of money to make the film. I mean,
as always, though, and that's like a big thing, right? For any film that's happening, you know, by South African filmmakers. So how did you overcome those challenges? Because you seem like you have a really good project over there and you still had the same challenges that everybody else faces.
Yeah, we decided we're not going to use this as a limitation. Yep. We're going to work around our issues. And I mean, just by shooting it at night, for example, we didn't have to have as many lights as, you know, a normal film would have and that kind of stuff. We didn't have to have the set design that the other films had because we could just, okay, cool, just don't shine a light there. You know,
creativity,
because, yeah, that's it, creativity.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a few horror films coming out now. So when we go see The House on Willow Street, what are people, you know, what kind of roller coaster are we going to go on? Are we going to leave there depressed? Like, does it come out at the end, you know, to have a little bit of a happy, you know, kind of, you know, conclusion?
No, it's not going to have a happy ending.
Really?
You're going to be terrified.
Okay.
And yeah, you're gonna regret buying a ticket to see it. In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way. I mean, your other cast members, Stephen, take us through, you know, just kind of what energy you guys had between you, the good days, the bad days. Did any of you get hurt making this?
I don't think any of us got hurt.
Okay.
I mean, I got hurt. When I fall, I actually fall. And,
yeah. There's no stunt doubles.
No.
No money for that.
No. He was the stunt double.
Yeah.
You know, working with like Colin and Shani, you know, they've paid their dues on screen, you know, and I grew up watching the Step Up films and that, so having Shani come on there, it was kind of daunting at first, because you have this image that these stars are
bigger than.
Yeah. And you know, I guess after the first half an hour, or maybe that whole day, it probably took us. I think we just realized that they're normal people, and they have conversations like everyone else. They have issues like everyone else, and
and they just love their craft, like you.
Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
And I mean, most of the days were good. Most of the days were cold, so half and half. It's most of them were bad then because it was cold. We were shooting at like 3 in the morning, in the middle of winter, in like a forest, and.
But that brings the authenticity, hey?
Yeah,
You're going through the motions.
It's real. It's all real.
It's all
like
real.
For us, because we were dying.
Sure.
I got lucky. I wasn't sprayed with water or any of that stuff. So I was mostly warm for most of the time.
Okay. So the film comes out when? And social media, what are the hashtags and accounts that people can follow?
Coming out 3rd of November, countrywide. If you just Google From a House on Willis Street, website.
From a House on Willis
It's a long name. Facebook, Twitter, but yeah, it'll come up. If you go hashtag Willis Street, it comes up.
Willis Street, fantastic. And I mean, Alistair, after this, what's your next project? Will you do something like this again, or are you still recovering and just... No?
I think from working with Stephen, he's put me off making movies forever.
Okay, could you tell us why?
No,
like,
no. We're trying to still figure out what the next step is. It's such a long process with these movies. I mean, we actually shot this in 2015. We started writing it at the end of 2013.
As always, it's a long and hard, process. But congratulations, you guys are here. As you say, the film comes out November 3rd. You know, South African film is just moving from strength to strength all the time. So we are very proud to have, people like yourselves here on our couches to say we are doing this, and we're doing it as well as, Tinseltown, and with, geez, our budget's of what?
A fraction of the cost.
A fraction, we can't even say half. So congratulations, and keep doing your best.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, that was From a House on Willow Street. Looks very scary. I'm not sure. I was telling the guys, it's one of those where you watch horror flicks when you're younger, you get older, and you're like, maybe it's not so scary, but that does look like a scary one. Go out and watch it November 3rd. Come back after this. Welcome back. You're still watching Trends. So the Sophiatown National Heritage House hosted a special Steve Biko exhibition titled 19 Days in September. Compiled by the Donald Woods Foundation, the exhibition, which includes amongst other memorabilia of Biko's a whole lot of newspaper clippings, marks the 40th anniversary of the death and immediate aftermath of the murder of the anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko, a one-of-a-kind visionary and thought leader 40 years ago.
19 Days in September chronicles for the first time the extensive coverage of anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko's murder. This exhibition by well-known South African journalist and former editor of the East London-based Daily Dispatch, Donald Woods, includes over 150 sources with speeches, newspaper reports and other publications.
The 19 days resembles the time that Donald Woods, who was the friend of Stephen Biko, made sure that he uncovered what the apartheid government wanted people not to know about the death and detention of Stephen Bantu Biko. You would know that under the then security minister, Jimmy Kruger, Steve Biko was assumed to have had hunger strike, and that's how or what has led to his death. So he uncovered that Stephen Bantu Biko was brutally beaten in prison and also died in the hands of the police government.
Biko was at the forefront of grassroots anti-apartheid campaign known as the Black Consciousness Movement during the late 1960s and 1970s.
My worst fear is that working on the present analysis, conflict can only be on a generalized basis between black and white. We don't have sufficient groups who can form coalition with blacks, that is, groups from the whites at the present moment. But the more such groups come up, the better to minimize that conflict.
This exhibition serves as a chronicle of Steve Biko's death and public outrage after his death.
The idea was that Sophiatown stands for social cohesion. The idea that Donald Hood, being a white person, making sure that this thing that was also being done by the apartheid government, which was a white government, Donald Hood then came and made sure that the whole world knew what was happening or what had happened to Stephen Bantu Biko. So Sophiatown being that platform and also being in partnership with the Donald Hood Museum in Eastern Cape, we thought that it is very important, especially since we were commemorating the 40th anniversary of Stephen Bantu Biko's death.
This exhibition is also being presented in London at the Gallery of the Guardian and Observer newspaper and many other places across the world. 19 days in September will run until next month at the Sophiatown National Heritage House and other gallery spaces across the country.
Looks like definitely one exhibition to go and see. And on to beauty news now. Every season has its own beauty trends. We all know that, right? Because what worked last season may not be so trendy after all this season. So this past week, the trendy fashion-forward Joburgers got a first-hand heads-up on what is in this season when they attended the launch of a beauty brand by one of South Africa's retail giants at the beautiful Shepstone Gardens. And we were, of course, there. So take a look at what you need to know about your beauty this season.
A sunny bunch of colorful palettes, all decked out in red and black to launch a new line of makeup by one of South Africa's biggest retailer, who are constant in doing the most when it comes to playing with other big beauty brands, giving the South African market a flawless face beat that does not have to cost you an arm and a leg.
And the one thing that's always we've missed in our range is a brand of our own, and that was really the birth of Kelso.
Gone are the days when we name makeup according to numbers. This brand has also jumped on the wagon of having all these color hues and palettes named after intriguing names that make it hard to forget.
What better way than to make it local and to allow people in the country to relate to it than to have local names. So anything from Larato to Bromfontein or to Westcliff Cocktails were names that were developed just around the table in a brainstorm session with our own staff.
I think for me what's very important is that now there's a brand that caters for the South African woman. It is highly, highly affordable, and I think that for me those are the two main things when I am looking for products, new products in the market. I want to know that a brand caters for my kind of complexion, for my kind of climate, and yeah, who doesn't like anything that is affordable?
Autumn-winter makeup varies from the spring-summer look, and because we want you to look snatched, here are a couple of face beat tips that will definitely be trending as the ideal looks this season.
Well, the whole look for 2017 is a very neutral eye and with crazy lashes. So it's easy for everyone to do. It's basically two colors, and it can be any two colors. But mostly people go with the neutral shades, so the browner shades, the orange shades. And I think it will be effortless, especially for the festive and for summertime.
That neutral glow-up has to go along with the bright seasonal colors, and much like the beautiful vibrancies of our surroundings, our lips should be just as exuberant.
On her lips, we used a lipstick called Turkish Delight. For her powder, we used Bloom Cookie Dough. And for blush, we used Gianni Streets. For bronzer, we used North Beach Body. And this is, I think, the look for 2017. It's a bare eye with lashes and a bold lip. On Simone, I used Spring Fling on her lips, which is a beautiful pink color, and I think it's perfect for the festive season, especially with everyone going on holiday. Summertime, I think it's going to do well.
if you're traveling, I would definitely say try and pack compact stuff, like small little palettes with small eyeshadows in them, 3 to 4 eyeshadows, a lipstick that's pretty wearable, a good mascara, and some brow products. That's definitely the must for traveling.
Dudes, please wear sunscreen before applying makeup, because a lot of women tend to feel like, okay, I don't need to wear sunscreen if I'm going to wear makeup. And then don't go out the house without setting your face, because then, you know, with the sun and everything, it just looks like a mess if you didn't set your makeup. So I'd advise people setting spray and sunscreen.
Go out there and get your glow on for the summer.
I like that. Thank you so very much, ladies. So celebrating 8 years this year, the Sanlam Handmade Contemporary Fair is back once again at the rooftop of Hyde Park Corner, north of Johannesburg. Themed Well Made in Africa, the fair gives aspiring designers the platform to showcase their latest work to the public. This year's event also attracted exhibitors from as far as Morocco, Kenya, Nigeria, and other African countries.
More than 120 exhibitors are attending the fair, making this space a spectacle of color. Products on display range from beanbags, ceramics, pot plants, and a whole lot of other interesting artifacts.
I'm with Lizanne from Ashanti Designs, who is one of the exhibitors here at the Sanlam Contemporary Fair. Lizanne now will be taking us through these designs. As you can see that I am sitting comfortable. Lizanne, tell us, what do you guys do here at Ashanti?
So we work with a lot of African communities where we give them the platform to use their traditional craft, but to give it to the contemporary market. So the bright, colorful beanbags that we're sitting on here are all handmade from garment offcuts from the clothing industry.
We caught up with one of the event organizers.
This is really, I guess, South Africa's only artisanal handmade fair. So it was started 8 years ago with the focus of trying to move South Africans to go towards buying and supporting local makers. So it's really a combination of food, wine, and design. What makes it so unique is that it's a platform in which people can actually look at stuff that they've possibly not seen anywhere else and buy it immediately. And what's also great is that you get about 120 exhibitors who come on this rooftop to come and exhibit to an audience in the city. What makes it very special is that 50% of the exhibitors that come each year are actually very new. So the ones that come from the previous years don't get accepted. We keep only 50% of them coming back.
This clothing line, which specializes in ethical African resort wear and swimsuits, is also making a mark at the fair. With their main store situated in Cape Town, Laleso Clothing also supplies the international market. They've also spread their wings into East Africa.
Laleso is really all about color and print. All of our prints are very African inspired, and each season we introduce a new set, 3 new sets of prints. So it kind of keeps the brand's like energy and outlook evolving. We're originally inspired by East African textiles, the Kenyan kanga actually. I'm from Kenya, so it's a really important part of my heritage.
These handmade kudu horns caught my eyes. Made from sliced pieces of wood, they are a collaborative effort of 2 designers.
Well, I am from Head On Design. I'm the founder, and I do animal heads, which you can put on your wall. And then we have Sharon B Design, and that's Simon and his wife Sharon Bunzaya. And she does beautiful artworks, and she prints onto the linen. And we also collaborate as well. So we have taken my kudu heads, and Sharon has painted them, and they are quite beautiful. She's finished them with gold leaf.
Joe and Sharon have been friends for a long time, and they've got complementary personalities. Joe's the design side, and Sharon is the creative arty side. So they work very well together. Sharon is inspired by the natural fynbos, mountains, birds, and animals of South Africa, and her work is like a celebration of that.
Organizers hope the fair will continue to grow steadily and receive just enough visitors every year. The fair ends tomorrow.
And so we have now in studio someone we haven't seen in so long, and I'm so very glad she's here. Award-winning musician Sipokazi has just released her new album titled Sipokazi. The album came out after her 6-year break in the music industry. The songstress has also recently returned from France, where she was touring and also attended the Midem Music Conference held annually in Cannes. Today, though, she is here to tell us about her relaunched music career, version 2.0, after a hiatus where she's just been, you know, grooming herself, raising her family, and welcome to TRENDZ.
Thank you so much.
You look lovely. So
thank you.
Everyone who knows me, I have a thing for yellow. So I look at you and I'm like, but Sipokazi, you look amazing.
It's
You look
summer,
amazing.
baby.
It is, you know. Congratulations on this. But tell people, where have you been? Where have you been? You cannot hide a voice like yours forever.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Sure.
I've been at home,
yes,
raising my 2 boys, Mohale and Burena. And I've been doing a bit of corporate functions here and there.
Sure.
I'm a God-loving person. I've been doing church a lot, and I'm still continuing to be in church. Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I've been
so
doing.
then here's this album. Congratulations, you said you produced this.
Yes.
And also it's, you know, the family record stable.
Yes.
So congratulations on that, because I think you've learned and seen over the years that, you know, really owning your work is what it's all about.
Yes.
So take us through the project and how it came together, who you worked with, and about you producing.
This album I started writing in 2012. But I got married in 2011, had my first child in 2013 and 2014, and I believe in the Lord's perfect timing. I believe this was His time for this album to be released now. And in terms of producing, I believe that because the songs came to me, a song would come as a whole.
Really?
Wow. I didn't.
And when does this happen, though? Does it come in the middle of the night when you're breastfeeding? Does it come, you know, when is your most creative time?
In many different ways.
Is it? Okay.
Because at times I would write lyrics, the whole verses and the choruses.
Sure.
And sometimes I would hear the whole song and take my recorder and record the whole song.
Wow.
And go to my co-producer with the whole song. So I thought it was easy for me, not really easy, but producing it myself, because everything just came as it was.
Yeah,
and
taking
thanks to
that
God.
long. Yes, and taking that long. I mean, you've had time to think about it, to, you know, rework it, to perfect it just the way that you wanted to.
Yes.
What do you make of the music industry now, when, you know, you've kind of, you've always been there? Look, we've still been playing, you know, from your very first CD, you know, up until now.
Thank you.
But when you look at what's happening, how do you feel about now, okay, saying, you know what, I think it's time to go back in and reclaim my space?
The music industry is evolving every day, and I thank God for giving me the voice. I can't shy away from the fact that He blessed me with a voice.
Yes.
And I believe what I carry with my voice is different from what
anybody
other artists will carry. And I believe in the message that God gives me, because in our communities there's a lot that we need to tell each other about, to awaken each other about. And as much as this album is more I can say spiritual, I call it my life journey. It's a story of my life's journey. Where I talk about mostly things that everybody goes through. So it's not, I can't really say I'm here to find my space to really move other people and say I'm back. I'm just allowing God to use me the way He wants to use me.
As a vessel.
And I will, I'm His vessel, and I'm gonna continue humbling myself before Him and saying, Lord, use me, whether you use me in the clubs or anywhere, but I'm carrying the message that everybody needs.
Okay, and talking about that, I know you are very involved with community work and philanthropy, and that's very, you know, special to you and your heart. So take us through, you know, some of the projects that you're busy with, and, you know, how you got to partner with them and why.
Yeah, it's very funny that you're asking me that question, because I was talking to my husband about it, that I've been reading this word in the Bible that says, what the other hand does, the other one mustn't see. Previously, I used to mention that I am doing this work.
Sure.
I'm helping here and there, but deep down in my heart or in my spirit, I feel that God doesn't really want me to shout out that I am doing this, because He says in His word, those people who do, I'm not saying it's wrong for them, but for me, I've been really convicted about this. Those who really say, like He says in the word, there are people who go, like those Jews and Gentiles who go and give money on the streets to the poor people, and they make it something that is very, very known. They shout about it.
And it's not necessary.
They get their reward from the people.
Sure.
Not from Him.
Okay, so you're going for the higher
Yeah, now
power
I really want to listen very closely to what He says I must do and how.
Thank you so very much, because you've just schooled us. We've just had some Bible study up in here. You know, very, very happy to see you, and you're going to perform for us.
Yes.
Congratulations on your project. I can't wait to hear what you have.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for having me.
Sure, we're going to an ad break. Do come back after this. I'm in studio with Sipho. Yep, she is back. Welcome back. So the trap genre has grown to be one of the leading sounds in American and South African hip-hop today, so much so that international group Amigos will be holding it down in Mzansi. The Atlanta trio have taken the hip-hop and trap world by storm since 2013 with their hit single, Versace. Now, 2016 was their breakthrough year with the drop of their international party anthem, Bad and Bougie. I'm sure you all know it, clocking over 700 million plays across YouTube and Spotify. Now, only 8 years into their career, they are arguably the hottest rap group on the planet right now, being the must-have trap feature across all music genres in 2017. So Amigos are bringing their live show our way, hitting stages in Durban and Johannesburg after an extraordinary year-long winning streak that shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon. It comes as no surprise then that only SA's finest would be booked to perform at this concert. The Super Mega AKA, together with Ricky Rick, Nasty C, DJ Tira and Wololo hitmaker Babes Wodumo will be the headliners, and it's all happening next weekend. That's the 20th and 21st of October. And yeah, so with that, I spoke with her just now. I'm so happy to have Sipho in studio, one of my all-time, even when I didn't speak Xhosa, I was listening to her music. So she's here, she's about to perform for us. This is off her latest album. It's called Sipho. Goodbye, everyone.
Amandla